I don't know. And this is LudumDare Day 2. So there's 16 hours left and 45 minutes until the end of Compon, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. So this is the time that we have left. It is just today. And here's what we have so far. We have a bunch of cars, and I have the car in the middle right now. And we're all trying to go up. And this is a huge mess of a traffic jam, right? Okay, but I only spawned for now a certain amount of cars. So, we're going to make sure that we spawn more cars if there's not enough. Also, the cars, they actually get stuck sometimes like this. So fixing that would be nice. Interesting thing here that if I like go into the edge like that, then I cannot slide along the edge, which I think would be possible, but apparently it's not. I like that we can do the 360 like this, though. Hello, Nigel. Okay, this game is already 900 lines of minicast, by the way. Nice. Let's see. I want to check the car to road collision. The event dates on the LDGM website are messed up. Yeah, the entire website is messed up. It's whatever. It's whatever. The whole LudumDare is being cancelled anyway. Well, the guy who's running it said that. because as I understand it, he just doesn't have the passion for. They just don't have the passion to run the LudumDare anymore, and it has been downhill for a while actually already. So yeah. Cancel it but in 2 years, yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird. To say the least, but it's whatever. It's whatever. I don't understand why I don't actually slide along the wall here. Yeah. Is it the precision though? Cast gem when? No, I don't think I want the people to struggle with cast yet. Although, like, minicast is not too bad, to be honest. The minicast gem, we could do that. Minicast is, like, actually a lot better in terms of errors, I think, right now. And stuff. What if I do something like target FPS? Right, I want to do this. Raylib set target FPS to be 30. Let's try the low FPS here and see if it works better. Because it might just be the precision issue. Maybe. Yeah, see, like over here, I'm actually sliding a little bit upwards. Yeah, I think it is the precision issue. Well, I mean, not that you're supposed to be sliding like that anyway. So I guess it's fine. All right. So what do we do? I want to make sure that we spawn more cars. Also, I want to make sure that the cars are a little bit different, right? So right now the player car and the other cars are all the same, right? But what we want to do is something different. Also, I kind of want the front wheels to be turning, so how about that? I would like the front wheels to be turning. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to let's first do the coloring, right? So I just want this entire thing to have a tint, I guess. Not the headlights though, right? Yeah. What do we have in Raylib? We're just going to do separate images, right? So what I need is to pick up this and this and that, right? And this and this and this and that. And this is going to be the okay, car untinted PNG. And this over here is going to be car tinted PNG. But I need to do the adjustments of the colors. I need to get rid of the saturation here or something like this, so that we can actually apply the tint later, right? Yeah. Is there the HSV? Yeah, we do. You do have color from HSV, hue, saturation value. Hue 0 to 360, saturation value is from 0 to 1. Okay, sure, let's do that. So basically we have assets. Let's have car assets like this. Car. And that's okay. Texture. Let's say car tinted. And say car untinted. Car tinted, car untinted. When I'm drawing the car, so every car is going to have the color, I guess, inside of it. So when I create the new car, I'm just going to say that the color is relib color from HSV. We have hue, and hue is going to be random float. Random float range, and the range is going to be from 0 to 360. Then this gives me the full random saturation 1, value 1. I think is perfectly fine. Okay, and then when I draw the car, I'm going to say the tint is going to be car color. Maybe we'll call it tint, actually. Tint is good, right? Alright. Well, that's not going to work. Texture assets doesn't have the field car, right? Because I need to do the car. Yeah, the texture is going to be tinted texture. And I have the untinted texture. So then the untinted texture is just drawn with the tint of white. Oh, look at this. Is this too colorful? Should we have a little less colors? Maybe not as much saturation. Maybe saturation could be also randomized. From 0 to 1. 0.5 to 1 is the value. So it could be like darker or brighter. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. Is this nice? Colors for the cars. I think that's nice. Colors to cars. Okay, and then let's do a little bit more. Let's get rid of the wheels from this too, right? And I'm just going to well, now that I'm thinking about it, shouldn't we be signaling? Well, when you signal, the lights, they don't do anything. I'm wondering if I should do the signaling though. Let's do the car, the wheels first though. Sure. Yeah. So we'll say the. I just want to kind of get one wheel and then place it in certain places. Right? Is that what I want? Or maybe not. Maybe I want to... Oh, yes, that's what I want. I just need to make sure that I properly place the things. I think I only want the front wheels, though. Well, it doesn't, like, really matter. Car wheel PNG. Okay, the positioning of that is going to be the most difficult part. Boom, 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 boom. What's the origin? Destination rect width divided by 2, right? I think I want a more general way to draw a texture. You know, when we have the texture, because all we care about really is the position, right? All we really care about is the position and rotation and the origin, the normalized origin. Vector 2. I think that's what I want the API to be. And also, I guess the tint could work to here. Yeah, let's do that. So whenever I'm drawing something, like over here, right? Like for example, instead of saying relief draw texture pro, right? We're going to say texture draw. Right, so I will draw the tinted texture. The tint is car tint. The rotation is car rotation. The position is car position, right? And the normalized origin is just x is 0.5 and y is 0.5, because we're basically, the origin is in the center. That's all that I care about. And we say the untinted texture is done the same, but with the white color. Yeah, I think that should work. And this stuff could be moved over here. We'll say that the source rect, so we are drawing the entire texture, width and height. The destination rect, that's going to be position x, position y, and width and height is this, divided by pixels per unit, so we maintain the pixel density. But the origin, yeah, the origin is going to be basically multiplying the destination rect width and height by the normalized origin dot x and normalized origin dot y. That's going to be my origin, and this will do the relib draw texture. What did I have there? Draw texture pro. Texture. Source rect. Dest rect. Origin. Angle. Degrees of the rotation. And tint. think. It's not think. It's tint. Right, so this still works. We just lost the front wheels, but we're going to get back the front wheels. Right, I'm going to do texture draw. Well, yeah, it's not that that easy, right? What should be the position? The position should be car position. Back to add. We need to add to the position the rotated wheel position. Right. Rotated wheel X, wheel Y. Wheel Y. And we'll rotate by car rotation. Hello, true 3v11. The progress is that we have the cars, and I have made them all of the different colors. I'm working on the wheel animation. The plan is to make it somewhat resemble a game. We will have to. Like the only thing that I don't know right now is what's the goal of the game. We need to come up with the like what's the player supposed to do. Like, or do we just literally stay in the traffic jam? I mean, we can just make it the goal to like maintain a like go over a certain distance, for example, right? And that's it. We could do that. Right? Like you need to go from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time. There will be a timer, and that's your score. We could do that. Yeah. Right, so we do this. What I want is to say that wheel X is going to be yeah, so I want like yeah, I want to calculate the center of this compared to the center of that, right? So it's kind of like the wheel is supposed to be somewhere over there, I guess. Right? So this has the size 715. So I think it should be yeah, I think it should be like 7. And wheel Y is 15. But I need to divide that by the pixels per unit. Yeah, and then we draw this car, and then we draw another car and for which this car, the Y of the wheel is going to be the negative wheel Y, and that's the only difference that we have. So here we just don't negate. And then I never implemented the vector rotate. Rotate is v vector 2 and angle is angle. right? So then we say that sin is angle sin of angle, and cos is angle cos of the angle, and then we say we return x is vx. We multiply the vx by the cos. And then what? We subtract? I don't remember. No, we add, right? We add vx times cos and vy times the sin. And for the y, we add v x times a negative sin and vy times cos, right? Something like that. Okay, I'm just drawing a different texture. Hold on. Car. This should be the wheel texture, and this should be the wheel texture. It feels like it's almost correct. Okay, and it is correct when we have the angle of 0, by the way. Did I do it in the other... Did I mess up the vector rotate? Is it actually subtracting here, and I do not negate this by this sign, maybe? We should figure out the 90 degree. Yeah, with the 90. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, there we go. Now we have the wheels in place, and now we can add more rotation to those, right? Now we can do more rotation. And the rotation, right, let's say that wheel rotation is going to be angle. I'm going to add to the car rotation the angle. I'm going to divide the car angular velocity by car maximum angular speed. There you go. And that is the rotation that we need to use here. Angle div is not found. Angle div. Well, I mean, yeah. Here's what I want. I want to divide. Yeah. Yeah, it's not angle div actually, right? I want to actually multiply the division float of the angular velocity decrease, I guess. By this decrease. Like so. But I want to multiply this by the wheel rotation, rotation. The maximum wheel rotation, I guess, which is angle from degrees. Let's see. Let's say that the wheels are going to turn 45 degrees at most, right? That's what we want. I multiply this angle by that. Okay. It's a little weird. Should I change the steer instead of the current angular? Yeah. I guess the steer would make a little more sense. So I multiply this by car steer. After all. But what's the steer of the car? It's not like... Is it the input? Right, to just say that car steer is equal to steer. Let's say car steer is add to the car steer the sub input steer and car steer, and then I want to clamp absolute value of this to be delta time multiplied by steer speed. This is just something. Well, the steer speed would be basically car maximum angular speed divided by car angular acceleration, I feel like, is what we want. Wait, what? No, this is very slow. It's not that slow, is it? Let's just do a random number here, a custom number basically. Instead, steer, car steer, speed. Let's do that. I feel like something like 2 should work. Also, I should draw the car wheels under the car, not on top of the car, right? Yeah. Fun game yet? Well, I mean, it's fun to drive the car around, but it's not a game at all yet. You can, I'm trying to come up with the, it feels a little bit wrong with these wheels, is it not? I do have the wheels that turn around like this now. Maybe they're too thin, probably, is the issue. I know, yeah, they're too thin. But yeah, we have like the cars, and we have the physics. Physics, cars, racing, that's always fun, right? I just need to have the goal for the game. And so far, the only goal that I'm coming up with is that we just need to, like, basically do the certain distance. And that would be timed. This is like Kutzmany all over again. Yeah, there's a little bit of the drifting too here. Not as much as there, but I mean, yeah. It kind of is. Yeah, but the only obstacles are the other cars. And some of them are going backwards. Where's that guy that was going backwards? There we go. See this guy? There's sometimes some crazy dude who is going backwards for some reason. And this is a bug, but we are keeping it. Because... because it's funny. Right? The other guys, they go slow. But this guy goes full speed, but backwards. The idea is to watch their signal and react. No, the idea is that, like, it's just a huge mess. There's going to be a lot of cars, and they're all going to be signaling. Because it's a traffic jam. And they go in these random patterns so that there's like more like of them needing to wait for each other kind of thing. No, I don't know. I mean, the original idea was that there would be a green light, red light, so the cars would they would stop at the lights and then like continue. But I feel like we can just make a lot of cars and they're going to be all signaling instead. And that's the entire connection with the theme. Is that not good enough? Let me do the wheels. Sprite. Kind of a size. Let me do the wheels, which are twice as big here. Horn is a form of a signal. Yeah, exactly. But I didn't think that the horn should do the gameplay, but maybe there could be some gameplay. But I don't know. I feel, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The horn is the signal. But it's just, you know, it's just what is happening. They're going to signal automatically if there's a car in front of them. So right now they just like go into each other, but they should instead stop if there is a car in front and start signaling. That's the idea. But should it actually lead to the other cars to move? Because where would they move? I don't know. So you're done with your LudumDare, right, Brainoid? Your part is done. I just want to change the wheel position on the Y to be 14 now, I guess. And then this should work. No, you're not, because of people of availability. You took the first 5 hours, but you have another cycle tomorrow. Oh, I see. Okay. Does this look better with the fatter wheels? I think it does. Alright, the sound is like missing from this game. Really, the sound would add a lot here. Is that what I should work on right now? The sound, and then we need to do the cars, the more cars. We need to automatically spawn them. I was also thinking that these like lights in front, like that you can use for signaling whether you're rotating left or right. So every time you're rotating, you would be blinking this left or right eye of the car, right? That would connect it with the theme a little more, even although it's not like any real gameplay element. It's the visual elements of the signaling that we need. And the audio. Could be a 40 and touch any car and you lose and start over. Yeah, that was kind of the original idea, actually. But I think that like I didn't do the physics for nothing, right? We need to be experienced in the physics. Look at these 360s over here. Yeah, I don't think I will do the combo points though, because there is not enough time. I need to do the other things first, and then like we need to start with the MVP, which is just going from A to B, I guess. Just having the end is the first thing that I need to do, right? And then if I still have the time, then I could add more things like combo points, etc. Like I feel like the challenge of the game is just getting around the cars. Right now there is not enough of them. There should be more. But if I do more, they're just going to all be stuck. Well, I mean, that's what happens in the beginning of the game here, right? If I just restart it here, you know, like this is a bunch of cars, right? So that's what I want. And then you need to like find the space in between the cars to like go around them and something like that, you know? But in general, right now they are sometimes just like basically standing still, trying to bonk into each other, and the traffic doesn't really move sometimes. But we need to make sure that it actually moves all the time. And to do that, I think these cars, they should just wait if there is a car in front of them. That's basically it. And they should instead start honking. They also added a bit signaling mechanic that somehow moves other cars. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but how would it move? Like, where would they move is the question also, right? Like, especially since it's a traffic jam, going somewhere just pushes the cars around you. Yeah, actually, yeah, maybe we can do something like that. A superpower, super honk. Yeah, that could work. We don't need it to be realistic, right? Yeah. And then you can only super honk sometimes, right? Like it recharges then. Sure. Yeah, could do that. Good idea. Then we actually have the signaling as a game mechanic, not just as something visual or audio. Okay. I want to do the traffic first. I'm pretty sure. So what I want is to automatically spawn the cars in front and maybe in back, because I want to allow the people to try and go backward for like extra challenge. Yeah, how about this? So we have two, like, we basically start, and then the end of the game is you need to like make certain distance either forward or backward, and backward is like the Easter egg for some people for extra challenge. That makes sense, right? Yeah, so how do I spawn the cars? That's the question. I do say traffic car new at the position, right? I feel like we just need to maintain the like the line. Like if this is our, like we say that this is our visible area, right? Or like maybe a little bit out of the visible area. This is where the player is, right? So it moves. This is gonna be compo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, which is why I don't want to add too many mechanics. I don't want to spend too much time. 3 days is too much. So I want to be done. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I will change my mind, but usually I don't. Usually I become lazy on the 3rd day anyway. You're on your own with music. Yeah, you wanted to do the music? I don't know if I want to spend time tomorrow. But yeah, music. If I do spend time tomorrow, I could make it into a better game. Okay, do you want to... do you feel that this game has potential and it's worth spending one more day on it? Imagine if this was an MMO with a super honk, yes. Alright, fine. Can you do all the audio effects too then? Remember like the drift and like the stuff. Yeah, I need to like figure out how to do the audio with Raylib too though, yeah. Yeah. I don't think I can do the MMO with like the real-time physics like this though. There is no way, especially with high pings which you get from people all across the world in the game jam. But yeah, I'm not going to do that anyway. We're testing the minicast. Okay, how do I spawn the cars? How do I spawn the cars? Like I can just say that the next car I need to spawn over here, right? And when we move, I'm going to check. If like this top line is above this, then we need to spawn it, right? The weird thing about music is that if we wanted something fast, but it's traffic jam, so we're not really racing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet. Yeah, we're not really racing. Could it be the radio, you know, like because that's what you listen to when you're in a traffic jam? Something that resembles the car radio, whatever people listen to when they're driving cars? which can be literally anything, I suppose. But what I say is that, yeah, maybe like a bunch of short songs, and then like you like actually like switch the like you make the audio effect of switching the channel or something in between. Do some news reports that which are covering the traffic jam or something. I have not tried like making the audio though with Raylib, so I should like test that I even can do that. Can I do some like music? There is music pan, music pitch, music volume. Yeah. You can send the sound pitch, so we can like randomize a little bit, I suppose. There's this maniac driving on the highway. Be careful. Yeah. So yeah, what I think about the traffic is that we have like these points at which we should spawn, right? And this line is the moving line. So if it's in front, then we like go to the next tick. But also if we are going to the previous tick, going behind the previous tick, right? Then we also should like despawn a car, which is like in front over there, something like that, right? Yeah, basically I think we want the spawn position or something float spawn position is 0. So whenever I update the traffic car, I want to know what is the player something like that. Oh, this is traffic car, right? Traffic update over here. So this is the player, and then I say if yeah, basically I say that if player position Y is greater than the traffic spawn position, then we need to do something about it. We say that traffic spawn position is at traffic spawn position and like the distance at which we spawn the cars, which I think should be just 1. That makes sense. And this over here is where I spawn the car. So I say traffic cars. We'll say car is traffic car new, and the position is going to be X. X is position. X is random float in range from. So this is where, we don't do the grid actually. I feel like we don't do the grid here. For sure. We'll just create the new array list and that's it. It's kind of like the next thing is what I want. Road radius minus car radius, literally. So we say float range from negative dx to dx, right? That's the x, and then the y is going to be the traffic spawn position. I'm going to add something there, something that is in front of the camera. Let's do 20 or something. Spawn distance. Let's do this. Let's do spawn distance. 20. My camera FOV is 10, so this should be more than enough. And then we say traffic cars. I need to add array list push to the traffic cars, the new car. Right? Let's see if this works. We need to push to the list of traffic cars. Okay, so first we start with the empty road and then we go in front, and at some point I should see the cars on the distance 20. Oh wait, I'm going negative. I just realized. Up is negative because it's raylib. I'm really used to up being positive, but this is up being negative. So I need to subtract here. Okay. Which also means that I need to subtract the spawn distance, not add it. So this is how I spawn the cars in front, but then I also need to spawn the cars in the back. Let's see if I spawn, if I see someone. There they are, look at this. That's the traffic now, right? I feel like I could do even more cars, maybe, or maybe not, I don't know. They are like crashing into each other. Kind of too easy right now. Yeah, I want more cars, I think. Or maybe it's going to be not an issue. Okay, I also don't really despawn the cars right now. But my FPS is still high. It seems like the edge is like the easy. If you don't hit the edge, I guess. Maybe there should be something to collect so that you don't like stay on one edge of the road, you know? You should be collecting something also as you're going. Actually, if I make it so that we collect, then the end goal would be to collect a certain amount of things instead of the goal being to just reach the destination. A countdown, you need to collect extra time. Or that, which means that you could run for infinite amount of time. Let's try going backwards now. See how that is. Oh, this is a huge accident here, it seems. Hello, two-step. Why is all of the accidents on the right side of the road, though? Is that a coincidence? Or is that how RNG works? For some reason. Or is that because I was going as a player on the left side of the road, maybe? When I was going forward. Hello, Penguin Operator. Slower drivers cause more accidents. What if you're looking more forward instead of downward? What does that mean? More forward. Well, I mean, we could have the camera to like show what's in front of the car instead of what's behind of the car. Is not that important, I guess, right? Right now the car is always in the center. Is that what you mean? All right, let me spawn the cars in the back. I want to spawn the cars in the back. Also. You mean view like you're in the car? What does that mean? Do a first person view? I don't think I will go into the first person view. The camera could lead your velocity acceleration vector. Yeah, that's how I understand that. That's what I was talking about. Yes, that's what we could do. Show more in front of the camera instead of in behind, especially if we are having some speed. Add float. How you plan to add signals? Well, signaling is honking. And there was this idea from Brainoid who suggests the mega honk. So we press like space or something, and we do a mega honk, and it's like an explosion, you know, like, and all of the cars around you, they get pushed away from you. You know. So you clean up some space for yourself this way. And also there is going to be like the audio signaling all the time because it's a traffic jam, right? So everyone else is going to be honking also. And I'm also planning to, I think, like doing the signaling, the visual, when you are rotating, basically, you're going to blink your left eye of the car. Is it called the eye, or what's it called? The lights of the car is going to be blinking, signaling that you are rotating. You know. How do you pull a plot twist and the signals are actually something else, not traffic signals? Yeah. Yeah, we could like have the lore of why we are going in the traffic jam, right? Maybe we're all going towards some signal, right? That's why the traffic jam is there. Everyone is going to see something. Everyone is attracted to the signal. Or alien signal. Everyone is running away. Or towards it, because they're curious. If there was an alien signal, would you run away or no? Depends on the kind of signal, I guess. Add float, traffic spawn position. I'm going to add like 1 here. Well, I mean, we could just say like if it's greater, then I'm going to move it backwards. No. Let's say that I'm like 2 here. It's okay. Just a little bit behind, basically. And then we're going to instead add. And I'm going to spawn the car. But behind. Right? At the spawn distance also. Yeah, I feel like that is the same, basically, yes. Okay, and then all that I need to do is I need to get rid of the cars which are further than the spawn distance, right? So what I want is something like this. I want array list. I want to retain in the player in the traffic cars. I want to retain those cars. Should keep, I don't know, retain. Should traffic car should retain. Let's do that. Let's change the spawn distance to traffic spawn distance. That's going to be a constant. I want to say traffic car should retain. That would be a car. which is traffic car, and this should return boolean. Current state. Traffic spawn position. Car Y. Subtract float. Absolute value. Should be less. Should be less than what? Less than traffic spawn distance. But I'm going to add, just in case, add traffic spawn distance like 2, just so that they are there. And then I should do the array list to retain, I guess. Array list retain. Array list of t's and f, and predicate, I guess, is t into boolean. So what we should do here is I guess what I want also is I want to be able to array list like swap remove or something. The swap remove, is that what it's called? Is that what it's called in Rust? I don't remember. Swap remove, yeah. Removes the element from the vector and returns that the removed element is replaced by the last element of the vector. That's like what we want, basically. At the index, and this should just return the element itself. Sure. So I just say that list index a at I, right? That's the result. That function has helped me on exactly one occasion. I'm just going to implement the retain using this. I usually I don't store the stuff in the lists, I guess, but in like maps or something based on the IDs. But it's okay. Right, or like you do a slot map, something like that. Generational arenas to store your entities. Right, I want to say list index t a at a dot length -1. Right, this is the last element, and the last element is now equal. No. Last is this, right? So we say then that list index tai is equal to last a dot length is subtract from a length 1, and then we return the result, right? There you go. This should work. And then, so, and this, in this case, since we are swap removing from the last, I need to go like backwards basically, right? So say I is 0. Why did you veto auto deref again? I did not veto anything. I just did not implement it yet. I will have the auto reference, I'm pretty sure. But this is minicast. As you can see, all of the things are explicit. All of the instantiations. The loops are. I only have the unwindable stuff. This is not cast. This is minicast. But I don't have the auto-deref in cast yet too, because that needs to be implemented. I'm pretty sure I will have it. I don't have a lot of things still. All right, I say that if I is equal to a length, then I'm just going to break the loop. Normally IRs only use the textual format for debugging, so you'd never think to write a library code in it directly. Well, I mean, it's not that, it's a pretty high level intermediate representation, right? So yeah. Yeah, it's usable by human intermediate representation, basically. Yeah, that's the purpose of the minicast. Why do generics needs to be everywhere? I mean, because like this language has a different type inference, which is not doing any inference. It's only doing the type checking. Although in some cases, I guess I could infer this thing still. It is not that difficult, right? But I don't do the unification Hindley-Milner kind of thing is in minicast. So everything is very explicit. And like this is the code that I'm going to generate anyway. So like, I mean, since this is not like targeted as being written by humans, even although it's not that difficult to implement, should I don't know. We could try to keep the implementation simpler instead of making it nicer for humans to write, right? I don't have the operators too, right? So this is why we do the equality like this, because I don't have the operators. You don't need operators, right? The only reason for operators to exist is for the humans to make it nicer to look at, right? If list, if array list, it should be array list index, by the way. Java type language. Well, Java still has the operators, just only for the things. Minicast should be simply typed a lambda calculus. Well, lambda calculus is too simplistic, right? I think. Yeah. Lambda calculus, as I understand it, doesn't have recursion or anything. It's a little closer to C. It's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Like I do have closures here still. I'm not sure if they should be here, but I did add closures. Well, lambda calculus is all working with the closures, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Don't think about it too much. It's some simple language here. Okay, so I want to do the if let. Yeah, let's do this. If predicate on the ArrayList index AI like that, then I'm just going to say I is subtract. I'm subtracting from I the 1, but otherwise we are just going to swap remove from I the I, right? And then we keep the I to be the current index. I think that's what I need to do. You don't actually know why it's necessary, but you trust the Haskell guy, and the Y Combinator does seem really inefficient. Yeah. I think it is about efficiency. And I mean, like, yeah. Lambda calculus is all working with the anonymous stuff, with closures. That is also not very efficient, I believe, compared to the top level functions. Maybe. But the overhead is not as big as for the Y Combinator, probably. Maybe. Well, I mean, that's exactly what I do in cast, right? Every function is a closure. It's just like we're closing over the compile time constants. But in lambda calculus, there is no such thing as a compile time constant, right? So, which would turn it into our standalone top level function instead of a closure. This over here should be an array list index instead of list index. Traffic doesn't have a field car. Line 82. It's cars, not car. I kind of want to like debug print maybe the car doesn't have the field Y, line 52, because it's car position Y. Right. Is this when we update? Yeah. Can I say something like traffic cars length, and I want to debug print it? So like print uint that, and then print string /n print string cars. I don't have the print uint, so let's do that. How do you print uint? What's uint? That's like size t. How do you print the size t? Print f size t. %zu. Z is the length, and u is unsigned. Recursive let is the only extension to the lambda calculus necessary to use it as the IR. I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, Okay, wait, hold on, I crashed. I seg faulted. Guys, I seg faulted. No! What happened? What if I go forward, not backward? No, I seg faulted. Is it the retaining? Let's not do the retaining. Maybe the retainment is implemented incorrectly. Cast is the most memory safe language. Yes. Yeah, it's the retaining. I think I just implemented it incorrectly. Let's take a look at the retaining. Oh, right. It's because yeah, over here. See, I'm removing this thing, right? But then what I need to do is I need to reduce the length, right? In this case, we reduce the index because we need to keep this. But in this case, we don't keep it. So we swap. Wait, no, we swap remove. Swap remove is already changing the index, the length, right? And then we go here. The I is being unchanged. Well, I mean, if I swap remove with the last element, technically, then I don't need to check it again, because I have already checked it before, technically, right? So I kind of just need to do this and say if not predicate, right? Then we swap remove. Is swap remove incorrect though? Let's take a look. I get the element at the index, I get the last element, which means that the length should not be 0 for this to work. But if, like, we are assuming that this index actually exists, so it's not 0 here always, right? Starts at 0, it goes down. Oh, wait, it starts at 0, it goes down. You're right. Yes. We're having the negative size t, which is like maximum size t. Makes sense why we segfault. I mean, I guess I could go forward instead. Yeah, but if I do go forward, then I need to say that we only go forward with the predicate, right? Because otherwise we swap remove with the last element. And I don't need to increase the index in this case because I need to check the last element in this case, actually. Right? Yeah. Or we could start with the last index. Okay. Okay. So basically what I want to check for, let's go forward instead. I want to see that the cars, they don't go infinite, right? They're supposed to go down sometimes. Retain probably shouldn't swap remove since you might use it on sorted arrays. It should keep the order instead. You're saying? Well, I'm not sorting anything right now, but yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it does go down. It does go down. Okay. So we basically are maintaining now the certain amount of cars in the current window, which is around the player. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Infinite traffic. Let's change the camera like you suggested. Let's see how the camera would be. Bum, 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 bum. It's somewhere in main, right? Yeah, we say camera target. This is what we want. So I want to know the camera target position. Camera target position. Let's start with changing this to be camera target position, right? But this is going to be, I'm going to add to the player position, I'm going to add the player velocity multiplied by a certain thing. Look ahead. You can still be efficient by writing the rotated elements starting on 0 and going up. You just need to keep track of separate from and to indices. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. But it, like, for the sake of this game, is good enough. Do you think I'm going to keep this standard library in minicast? Maybe, who knows? It's kind of a usable programming language, right? Maybe someone would actually like it for its simplicity, right? People like simple. People like explicit more than implicit sometimes. So like this is the good part, right? That I explicitly instantiate all of the generic things, right? Minicast is all you need. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Look ahead. It's going to be something. I'm not sure. Like, basically, 3 seconds in front of us is what we want to see in the current with the current speed. Let's see if this works like something. It still has nested expression, not simple enough. Well, are you saying that the separating statements and expressions instead of being everything being expression is simpler? I feel like everything being expression is simpler than having the distinction. Right? Because it's one thing instead of two things. It's simpler, right? Everything being a statement is simpler. Yeah, I guess, maybe. Right. Yeah, I guess. That's what assembly is, right? Yeah, this is a little bit too much. As you look ahead, being like 0.1 maybe instead. Well, there should be like the maximum look ahead distance also. No, 0.1 is too small. 0. Let's just do 1. See what that looks like. I feel like something like 0.5 is what we want, right? But then I want, so the camera target position, that's what I wanted this for smoothing up the camera here a little bit, right? So I'm going to add to this state camera target. I'm going to add this subtracting of the camera target position minus state camera target. That's going to be my speed. I'm going to also multiply that by something like camera speed, I think. And then also multiply that by the delta time. Wait, which means that this should be in the drawing, in the update, not here. Update camera. Delta time, how about that? There we go. So we do delta position by camera speed, delta time. That's my look ahead. Camera speed, it's like 2 or something. Does cast compile to minicast text? Or is the cast ASD converted straight into minicast ASD? To text. Because because the cast is the bootstrap and the minicast is self-hosted, written in cast, I mean, right? It's easier, I think, to do this stuff. Because otherwise I would need 2 representations instead of 1 representation, which like would be like the bytecode or something. Not that difficult to do, but I don't know. It's easier to look at the generated stuff this way. And the cast to minicast is not like done yet, so we're just doing the minicast because we're testing the minicast. That's why I'm making the game in it, for testing. So you already have 2 representations. What about the STD? Invented as well as the standard library? What do you mean the STD? What are the 2 representations? Well, I mean, there is the representation which is in-memory representation. In order to convert that to, like, I mean, that would be the 3rd representation, which is the on-disk representation, right? So on the disk, I only have the text format. Where did the array list come from in MKS? It is literally written over here in the repository with the game. Yeah, I wrote it again. Hold on, what was I doing? I was doing the updating of the camera. Yeah, I want to do that, and then I want to vector to clamp max length of this. I want want clamp max length of this to be basically the length of the delta position, I guess. Void stars. Your mental model is cast source codes, cast TST, minicast source codes, minicast TST, CJS. Well, I mean, and before we do the CJS, we also construct the CAST or JavaScript AST. So there's that. But that is representation is only in memory, right? But yeah. We could do the minicast AST directly. But for that to work, I think I will do it when we self-host the cast. Then we skip the source code, yes. Then we generate directly the AST. Cutting the middleman creates the new representation because the source cast AST and the minicast AST, they are in different programs. So we need the two different processes to talk to each other by serializing the data and then deserializing it, because it's also written in different languages. I mean, unless I had some way of talking directly to the camel, I guess, from the minicast, but I don't. Yeah, but for that I would need to transpile to a camel instead of transpiling to JavaScript. Then I could skip that step too, I suppose. Yeah. Once we have the self-hosted version, we will definitely skip the stuff. That makes sense. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong. My car is still in the center. Well, now it's not. Okay, is it just the camera speed was too slow? Should it be like 5? A little weird. Yeah, it's just like I'm making basically a simpler language. I'm also like testing cast this way, right? I mean, maybe testing cast is not that important anymore at this point, but okay, is this camera good? We look a little bit in front. That's a lot of cars here. I I think I should look more in front. How about we do 0.8? Maybe 0.8 is nice. Like this. I feel like the player should be highlighted more somehow. It should be a special car. Should I have just a different texture for it or something? I also feel like the horizontal wise, how about this? Yeah, you know, like I'm going to add the I'm going to say that y is add this by multiplying the velocity y by look ahead, right? But the x coordinate of the camera, should it always just be 0? Should I always look at the position 0 so that the camera is always centered on the road, or should the camera move a little bit left and right? Maybe it should move, but just not as much. You know, but this way it's not. I feel like it's fine if it's not moving at all. So, right? I feel like this is totally fine. Yeah, I kind of like this camera. Move, guys, move. So what if we go backwards now? Yeah, we can see like backwards too and try to dodge them a little better. Go in reverse seems more fun. Yeah, I think like reverse is going to be the like the challenge mode basically. All right. Better camera. You know what I also think that we can do? How about we add a little bit of this screen shake? Screen shake. How about that? Screen shake is 0. I'm going to say that screen shake is subtract from the screen shake the delta time by something to divide. So yeah, let's do multiply by 2. And then I can do like that, state camera We're just going to do the rotation maybe, or is it not the rotation? No, it should be, that should be the shaking actually, right? Camera target vector 2. So it's not, it's camera target instead of camera dot target. Instead say that camera target is camera target, and then we are going to add to it something, right? X is going to be the sign of, oh, but I need to have like the time. Y is sign of state time, and I'm going to multiply that by screen shake, you know. We add the delta time over there. This should be multiplied by 30. This could be multiplied by 40. Also, I could add to this some random number. Yep. Screen shake. And I want to, I guess, multiply the screen shake by the like the maximum screen shake distance, which should not be very big, like 0.1 maybe. I want in the physics basically when I like collide, yeah, I guess I can say something like this. State is old player velocity is state player velocity, right? And then say delta player velocity is state player velocity. We're going to subtract from this the old player velocity, right? Yep. And then I want the vector to length of the delta player velocity. I want to divide that by the by something. Let's divide this by like 1, and then minimum after that, and 1 is going to be this screen shake, or rather we say state screen shake is, I'm going to add to the state screen shake this thing. But I want it to never be bigger than 1, which I guess I could do in the camera here somewhere, right? I want to do minimum. Well, I want to like clamp this from 0 to 1. The screen shake. Let's see if I hit the thing. There we go. Look at this. A little bit of the screen shake. I feel like yeah, maybe this is a little bit too much. Is it too much? I think it's too much. Let's do screen shake. Should be just smaller, but the timing is perfect. I think. Just make it twice as small like this. Now it's too small. Well, when I hit the cars, it's actually really good. It's just very small when I... Yeah, like, I don't want it to be too distracting. You think it would be better if the camera tracked? The player... A little bit? What do you mean? Oh, player X coordinate a little bit? Sure. The X coordinate. Let's try. I mean, I kind of like that it doesn't, but maybe if it's just a little bit, you know? Can we say state player position X? Let's just multiply it by some number. Like 0.1, for example. Which is very, very small. Screen shake feels a little bit weird still. When I'm like... driving into. Let me see. Like if I drive like this, it just shakes all the time. This is wrong. Why is it doing that? I'm adding the length of the delta player velocity, so like it's depending on the change of the velocity, but my velocity there is supposed to be 0, right? My change of the velocity is supposed to be 0. Or is it like still very like big number there? Because I'm adding to it, right? Yeah, it's because I'm adding to it. And to have the this thing a little bit different. Okay, so now this works. And maybe I can go back on my screen shake being actually a little bigger. I was just adding too much screen shake on the smallest collisions, I guess. Yeah, there we go. This feels nice. Over here on the edges. What about when I hit the car? Now I don't see it when I hit the car. The 0.5 here. Well, I mean, hold on, no. We need to basically say that screen shake is the maximum of the screen shake and this. I think that makes sense, actually. Like, I should not be adding, but I should set it to the minimum of this. Whatever that is, that makes sense. Right? Because a bunch of small collisions should not add up to the big collision. Right? In terms of screen shake. Yeah, but this is still like very small, so I want to multiply this by something. I mean, yeah, I mean, this feels good. This feels good, I think. I would say this feels good. Right? Do you think I should add the rotation to the camera? Let's try the rotation on the camera too. Also, I'm going to move the camera over here into a separate file. Right, yeah, let's say state camera rotation is, so I'm going to like do some similar formula here. The screen shake should only decay by a fixed amount per frame, so large impacts are spread across multiple frames. Well, that's what it's, yeah, it's doing that exactly. Yes. It's decaying like at a certain rate, which is certain amount per frame, right? It's not reset every frame now. And this would be over here the degrees, so how much we rotate, like 5 degrees, for example. Yeah, if it was reset every frame, you would only see the this these black things are because of how I draw the background. But I do like, I think, in general. the rotation shake too, I guess. Right? And the reason like is there is because when I'm doing the background, I'm calculating, like I'm drawing the rectangle, which is the right, I'm doing the screen left, I'm doing the top left corner and top right corner, convert those to the world coordinates, and then doing these things. But what I could do is, I guess I could take a little bit like, yeah, let's do this. Let's say that extra space is x is 10, y is 10. Yeah, it doesn't really like matter, I suppose. We're just going to say that top left is vector 2 add top left and extra space. Well, actually not add instead, but sub, right? But the bottom right is when we add the extra space to the bottom right. And then we will not have this black things. We just draw the background a little bit outside of the camera. There you go. You like this? It feels a little too shaky now, though. The screen shake is very... like, you can feel it, basically. Maybe the rotational one should be smaller. Should be like 2 degrees instead. Yeah, I think this is good. I feel like I want the player to be a specific color, maybe. Can I say that... yeah, over here, I say player is this. Can I say color is color from HSV? Can I make sure that it's just like red, like 0 1 1? But I mean, we just say red, right? The player is the red car. Car doesn't have the field color. Wait, what? Oh, it's called tint. Red is not found. Now it's going to be found. Okay. Is that going to make it easier to find your car? Or should it be more somehow? I think it should be. How about this? How about we draw the big P on it? Saying that it's the player. You know? Like over here, right? We just draw the P. Screen shaking is still too much for your old eyes. Yeah, it's... Wait, what? The car is not symmetrical, and I didn't even notice it. Yeah, the car is not symmetrical, guys. I think car should have something like is player is a boolean maybe. So we would know about it, right? The new car would be is player is just false. But when we do this one, we say car is player is true. And then when I draw the car, I'll just also draw the assets, textures, player icon on top there. I don't know, the screen shake, it's important though, right? Well, I mean, if you don't like screen shake, but you just don't crash into the cars and then it's all smooth, you know? This player icon should be also tinted. and it should only be drawn if car is player. Alright, now it is pretty obvious that you're the player, right? I feel like I want to work on the audio. Because like once the audio is going to be here, it's going to be so much better. Is Brainoid around? Let me do something. Boop. P1 should be better if there's no P2. Well, I could imagine adding local multiplayer to this kind of game, but not that important for the game jam for sure. The online multiplayer, I don't know how to even implement that on the physics game properly. I don't know. P1 is not that easy to draw in this small amount of area, I think. I like the bold letters, I think. All right, let's start by like what Brainoid tells. I just want to figure out how to do the audio, right? So we just do module audio. We need to initialize audio device. What if I never initialize it? Is audio device ready? Check if the audio device has been initialized successfully. Load wave. Load wave data from a file. Load sound. Load sound from a file. Load wave from a file. Which one should it be? What's different from the wave data and the sound? Load sound alias. Create a new sound that shares the same sample data as the source sound, but does not own the source data. Check if the sound is valid. Data loaded and buffers initialized. Why would I have the invalid one? Huh? Update sound buffer with new data. Unload export to the file. Play sound, stop sound. So like, how do I play the same sound multiple times? I need to create the sound aliases first. And then do I need to unload them then? What if I never unload the sound aliases? Tavanish. Is sound playing? I'm not a big fan of this API, but okay. So the sound can be like the own sound or the reference, which is the alias, at the same time. Let's see. So we have native sound, which is opaque type. The Raylib audio API or Raylib in general? Well, I mean, I think in general Raylib is a little weird, but yeah. The audio API specifically too is a little bit weird. Like you have the sound alias and the sound and they share the type instead of being two different things. Why? Makes no sense to me. So, and what is the difference between the wave and the sound also? Like wave is something that we don't... Wave is something that we don't play? Or what is this? Wave crop. Crop a wave to defined frame ranges. Like a wave is something that you can edit basically, right? To copy it to a new wave and you can format, convert to desired format. Like what is the waves there for? It's kind of meant for beginners. Yeah, I think it's bad for beginners. Well, I mean, like compared to what, I guess, right? Is there something that's better? Maybe not, but I think that there could be a better API for beginners too. Sounds are immutable views of waves. Yeah, maybe. There is no documentation, so we can't really know unless I dig into the source code, right? So into the load sound and in the Raylib, there is more documentation than just this cheat sheet, I think. Why can I not find it then? I mean, there is the wiki, I guess, right? Is the wiki the documentation that you're talking about? Maybe. Control F audio. There is no audio here. Is there a search on this wiki? No. Architecture is there. Audio. And then the audio just gets me to the source code. Maybe I enter data structures. I don't care about how many bytes it is. Like, that's not what the beginners should even worry about, right? Yeah, the source file looked like a... That's what I'm saying. Like, the documentation is in the form of the source. There is no real documentation. There is only this. And I mean, this has the features that we can load and mix the channels and stuff, sure. Dependencies, contributors, and the license. This is not the documentation. This is barely any documentation. Wait, there's audio buffer. Hold on. Why am I seeing audio buffer here? And but in the cheat sheet it's not that. There is there is load audio buffer. And that's different. Or maybe this is private, right? Like, I don't know what is private and what is public when I look at the source code. There is sound, audio buffer, and wave. 3 different things, which mean sound. I mean, yes, comments in the source code can be documentation, but like, that's not good for beginners. No, it's not. And whatever I'm seeing here, I have not seen the good comments, which... Note, wave data must be unallocated manually and will be shared across all clones. Like, what does this mean? Does it mean that I need to unallocate the wave? And if I unallocate it, will still be shared? Or what? What does this even mean? I think I'm too dumb for this simple API. Wave data must be unallocated manually. So I need to, so basically there is the thing that's called unload sound, and then there is the thing that's called unload wave. So when I'm loading the sound from wave, I need to unload the wave, and I still need to unload the sound too. So like, does it mean that we copy the wave into the sound? Right? Because this is technically taken by reference, not by ownership. But that is not specified here, unless like this note is what it means. Is this the documentation? Features. Like, this is literally the same stuff as the on the top. That's not documentation. There's only, like, the documentation exists in Rayleigh only in the form of examples. And a couple of comments which I'm struggling to decipher. And these comments and the header file is literally the same stuff as you see in the cheat sheet anyway. It says based on mini audio, mini audio has better docs. Yeah, but I'm using the Rayleigh, but not using mini audio. Why would I be looking at that? VS Code actually shows source comment in the mouse over tooltip. Yeah, I know, but like, I would see that, the comment, which doesn't mean anything anyway. The comments are useless that I see. So I'm supposed to guess how the API works. That's my understanding. Well, I mean the examples, right? Like, for example, in this example, how do I play the same sound multiple times? If I am guessing correctly, I need to load the sound, then I need to create a bunch of aliases. If I want to play the same sound like 3 times, I need to create 3 aliases and then play those aliases separately, right? Because those aliases, I can like set the pitch on them separately and the volume on them separately, right? Because that's what I want. But why do I need to guess that? I am not a fan of Rayleigh so far. Well, I mean, let's say that the documentation existed. Is the API still good after the documentation that doesn't exist exists? Well, I guess it's good enough, but I think it could be much better still. Not to say that I have made it much better in my engine, but yeah, making something that's good is difficult for sure. But it doesn't mean that I cannot complain, right? So I need to load sound. Yeah, I feel the cheat sheet is still like the best way to look at, the best thing to look at. Where was that now? Audio. So I want to load sound. Then I want to load sound alias. And then I want to, do I want to unload, like if I never unload the sound alias now, am I going to, but when do I need to unload the sound alias? After it stopped playing? So I need to check every frame. If the sound is still playing, it's not going to unload itself automatically. That would be the easy to use API. You just say play, and then it like deallocates it after it ends playing automatically. That would be easy. But it seems like in order to not leak memory, I need to create the sound alias and then check if it's playing every frame and then unload it if it's not. You got it. Wave's own sample data where sounds on the ring buffer used for playback. Yeah, I mean, I guess sound is the wave data plus like the current plane position, like plus basically sound is the sound effect, right? Wave is the wave data. So in other terms, in the web audio API, which is I think better than this, they call it the audio buffers. The wave is the audio buffer, and this is the audio source node basically, which takes the data from the wave. Right, so I need to create multiple aliases. So basically, and then like this sound which I load as the asset, should it be the sound wave? Should it be the wave, or should it be the sound? Right? Because I can only create the aliases from the waves, not from the sounds. It says low, but according to the documentation, which is barely present there, but let's take a look at this documentation there, right? Let's see here, avoid. Ooh, right? I want load. I guess after I do that. Load sound from wave, right? If I look at this, actually, it doesn't even show the documentation comment. Why does it not show the documentation comment? Because it's a regular comment, not the documentation comment. So so how are you sure that it shows this stuff on hover? It seems like it doesn't even show the documentation on hover. Let's try load image. Does it matter if it's the trailing comment? Yeah, this one actually shows the little bit, right? But because for specifically this load from Soundwave, the documentation is in the comment which is after the function declaration, it is not treated as the documentation comment. It's just a comment after the thing. You always go through a wave, but you use load sound. It owns the wave. And you can use aliases to create sounds which borrow the wave from the main sound. Yeah, I understand. But like, why can I not create the sound alias from the wave then, right? Because I want to share the same sample data as the wave, right? Because like when I load the asset, like semantically, I'm not going to play that asset directly because I'm going to create the aliases from it. right? Which means that in the assets, I should store the wave, right? But then if I create the sounds from the waves, this doesn't tell me if it like copies the wave or it references it. I don't know. I feel like this is bad. Use the audio LSP, which always shows the comments in the tooltips. Well, it depends on how the comment is generated, basically, right? The audio LSP is the LSP for the audio language, and this is how it's done in C, right? So where are you supposed to take the documentation? So as far as I understand, the documentation comment is only true just the documentation comment in the. So I'm using the clang D here, right? If it's the comment right before the function, if it's on the same line in the end, that's not documentation comment. That's just some comment, which is ignored. Well, I mean, the C people usually don't use the LSP as far as I understand. So you're supposed to look at the document, at the source code. and then and it doesn't matter if it's a documentation comment or a regular comment, right? Okay. Anyway. So this means that, like, even although one of them is the sound buffer, like storing the data, and another one is the sound effect, which is like going to be played, they are still in the same type, and this is why the API is bad in my opinion. Yeah. I am going to do the custom engine. Yes, I am. It's just, I mean, technically it's still faster to use Raylib, right? But it's good to know how Raylib is done so that, you know, like, people do like it. Maybe I'm the weird one who doesn't like it for some reason. This API. But yeah. You're wrong. Unload sound unloads the wave after doing load sound from wave. So you don't actually need to keep waves around. Yeah, but what this means is that we're wasting memory, right? Because if load sound, like, it means that load sound actually like owns the buffer in this case, right? And yeah, anyway, like, the fact that you have dug somewhere, you were also doing the assumption and then you were wrong, right? This means that the API is bad, basically. You should not be guessing like that. It should be obvious or written, at least. All right, so I'm going to load sound alias. And is it true that the sound alias needs to be unloaded, right? Because otherwise I would leak memory, which does mean that I need to check every frame that my sound that I was playing is still playing. And if it's not, then I should unload it. That's really triggering me. This is the worst part of it. and then into play sound. Which is going to be the alias, not the sound. So in the assets, let's do, we have sounds, sound assets. Do the bonk sound, I guess. Load sound assets, sound effect, bonk. WAV. Let's do the SFXer for now. Seems like I loaded it successfully, right? Yeah, wave data loaded successfully. Sound failed to get frame count for format conversion. Audio failed to create data conversion pipeline. Sound failed to create buffer. Is that normal? Why am I failing to create the buffer? Let's do audio. How about this? I just want to have the function called play sound, which is going to be different from what we have in Raylib. So sound is going to be still the sound, but we're just going to say Raylib a load audio alias sound, right? And this gives the alias, and then we're going to say Raylib play sound alias, right? And then we have a to do here, unload the alias, right? Because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, unless we create like is the supposed way to use this is to create like a pool of aliases or something? Maybe, who knows what's the intended use case here. You need to unload sound alias whenever a sound instance stops playing, or you could just have a pool. Yeah. Yeah, like so that I never play like 10 sounds at the same time or something, right? It kind of like actually helps, but still, like what if I want to play 100 sounds? They should be done automatically. Maybe we do look at the source code. Hold on. Let's look at the source code of Raylib. Our audio.c. I want to know what does unload sound alias is doing, right? Untrack and unload the sound buffer, not the sample data. It is shared with a source for the alias. Oh, the buffer. Oh, yes, because okay, I see how this works, right? Yeah, so I do need to unload it, right? Because when you're playing, you have the you're playing the sounds in these small buffers, probably, right? Which are being sent to like the actual audio API, right? Because you don't generate it byte by byte, you generate it in the small thingies. But would the alias stream buffer be yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to guess. It doesn't seem that hard though. You can just keep them in a global list and every frame you could just remove expired sounds in a single place. Yeah, but like that's not something that I expected to do in the API that claims to be easy to use. Okay? It's not that difficult to implement the easy to use API myself though. Yes, I agree with that. So I won't have like audio context basically. Which could store like the list of sounds which are like sound effects. That's what I want to call them, the sound effects, the sounds that are currently playing, right? So that would be an array list of sounds. We can do that. And it's audio. I also want wait. Also, I need to I did not initialize the audio. Do I need to initialize it or do I not? Is it initialized automatically for me? No one tells me in this documentation. Do I need to initialize audio device? Or do I not? Init window? Yeah, you think. But how would we know it? By looking at the source code? Well, and okay, is it undefined behavior to call initialize audio device twice then? That's another question that I have. So it's there, like, so the purpose of this API then is if you want to use the Raylib audio without using the Raylib window, right? If you just want some audio, but you don't want the graphics, right? Then you would use this. Otherwise, you just initialize the window and it automatically does this. Or maybe it automatically initializes this every time you call any other API. I don't know, I can only guess. I don't like guessing. This has an example. Raylib help.wazi. I mean, yes, but this doesn't show you how to play the same sound multiple times. I mean, we could try that. Is there? Let's try the example of the audio, right? Audio, right? We just want to play the audio. Press space to restart music. Up, down to change speed. No, it's just the music. Music. Raw sound loading. On space and on enter. That's loud. You do need to initialize audio device. What happens if you don't? Does Raylib has runtime checks? So it's going to like tell me that there is an error, that it was not initialized, or it's going to be literally undefined behavior. It depends if they have the checks for the initialization. But if they have the checks for initialization, they can just initialize it lazily. And technically that would even be a simpler API. Because you don't need to initialize the window, it would initialize it for you. I think it's so like over here, it restarts the audio from the beginning, basically, instead of playing two sounds at the same time. If I understand correctly what I'm hearing when I was pressing this space here, right? Yeah. You know what, actually? How about we literally do that? And let's not do the aliases. Let's not do this stuff. Let us not do this stuff. Let's play sound. The sound. I'm not going to play the I'm not going to do the aliases. It's okay, like it's okay. Maybe, right? Maybe we don't need to play multiple sounds at the same time. That would be a mess anyway. Too much audio. Well, I mean, we do want to have like in the traffic jam, the honking though. Yes. We do want to have the honking though, right? And like when multiple cars honk at the same time, if only one sound goes through, that would be weird, right? And like since everyone is crashing, we want to, yeah. Let's start with the simpler version of it though, and see that it's working like that exactly, right? Before I try to do the aliases. Okay. Let me just make sure that I initialize with audio context is the audio. What is this LudumDare about? It's about making a game. The theme is signal. It still says failed to create buffer, by the way, failed to get frame count, and failed to create data conversion pipeline. Okay, I want to play sound with specific volume, which is going to be float, right? Let's see, how do we set the volume of the audio? Wait, can I not set the volume of the audio? I can only set the pitch. No, there it is. Set volume. Yeah. Set sound volume. Of this sound to be volume, and then play it. Okay, so we are doing this in the physics, right? Similar to screen shaking. This is the intensity, basically, right? No, but this is specifically about the player, right? Yeah, this is specifically about the player. Maybe we do something like car apply impulse car, and then like this. And we do same over here, right? Car apply impulse A. And this is going to be the negative impulse then. Vector 2 multiply impulse by -1. Car apply impulse B is just the impulse. And then I can check the screen shake there. Car apply impulse. It's going to be car. Impulse is vector. Right, so I say that if car is player, then we're going to do this screen shake. Right, and this is the and the delta player valve. This is literally the impulse then, and this is the something. It's called K. And I also need to, before doing this, I need to say car velocity is add car velocity and impulse. Right. Let's see if everything still works. And then we're gonna add the sound based on this K. I don't know, let's call this intensity or something. That's okay. Statement found, physics 5. Status current state. Okay. Seems to work. Let's do the audio now. Okay, so distance is, so I want state camera target. That's where we are looking at, right? And I want to have the length. Oh wait, but if this is 2 cars, I don't want this. I want to do 2 sounds if it's 2 cars, right? Yeah. Do sound boolean. do sound. Like over here, we're applying the impulse to the first and the second car. Right, and over here we're going to say false, and over here we're going to say true. So we only apply it once. But what's the position of the sound then? It's position of one of the cars, so it can be a little bit off. But it's probably fine. It's no one is going to notice that. You know, probably. Right. So I will say that volume is multiply. Well, it's not this. We need to subtract from the car position the target, right? Then I'm going to multiply the I will multiply the intensity by dividing the distance by the maximum distance, which let's say that's going to be 5, right? It's going to be, let's say, distance multiplier. Distance multiplier is we divide distance by 5, and then we subtract 1, and we subtract that from 1, right? And then we can also do the squaring of this, maybe, right? I think it's squaring before I subtract, though. Right, and then I want to clamp this from 0 to 1. Right, I just don't have the SQR. and then over here we're just going to play sound assets sounds. Do I call it sounds? Yeah, sure. No, let's call it SFX. SFX. SFX bonk with the volume. Let's see. Line 78. True. For playing the sound on collision of the car with the road. Wait. I don't hear any sound. I feel like this warning over here that we failed to create the buffer is like the issue, right? The file loaded successfully. Wave data loaded successfully. 44 kilohertz, 16 bits, one channel. But then we have sound. Failed to get frame count for format conversion. Failed to create data conversion pipeline. Failed to create buffer. Is that normal?